Welcome back to my channel. This is Joy Ani, and my channel is Joy Ani Scrapping in My Own Private Idaho. And today is the second day of Christy's Beautiful Life, and this is the sketch that I will be working from. It is by Sean Stiles Lar, and all the layouts this time for Christy's Beautiful Life are 2-pagers, and so it's a lot of fun. So this one presented a couple challenges for me, and I'll talk about how I kind of dealt with those challenges. So as you can see, it has a 10.5 by 8.5, but how it runs is a little bit different. So I switched some of the elements around so it's not exact. When I do a sketch, I try very hard to do the sketch as close as I can. To me, it's kind of like following a recipe. And one of the great things about doing a sketch is it makes it so that all of your pages don't look exactly the same. So the first thing with this sketch that was a challenge was I have very few pictures. So this is my sister's family, and she is gone to be with Jesus, and so this is her kids, and I'm making an album for each one of those. I'm starting with Ryan's album first, and so the issue is this layout. I did have an 8 by 10, although I did have to run it the other way. The other issue is we were very poor. My sister and I both were single parents, and so we don't have a lot of pictures, and the pictures that I have, I don't have that many of them because I live in a different state than my sister's kids. So what I did to kind of keep the sketch so that it was still kept the essence of the sketch was I made a block. So this is the block. So in this layout, the pictures would have been 6 by 4. So I just did the pictures. Also, back in the good old days, you'll notice that the pictures were not very big, and I couldn't make them 6 by 10, 6 by 4, even though I can print my own pictures. I couldn't make them 6 by 4 because the quality of the pictures were really bad. So I kept them at 3 by 4s basically, and I just made a photo block instead of having the 6 by 4 on the sketch. There was supposed to be a 6 by 4 and a 4 by 4. So that's kind of the first challenge that I did. So I'm going to, a lot of times I kind of prep, and I did do a lot of prep on this one, but I also wanted to just kind of go over, just in case you are new to scrapbooking. I am going to go over some of the things and actually do them. I guess that's called a process video. Okay, so what I did was in the sketch they have stitching. I'm too lazy to stitch, and then they have a line here. I'm assuming that's stitching. Well, I just made it stitching, and I may sew on this after, but I won't do it on. I'll just show you where I will sew, and if you want to see the still pictures of the totally finished, you can pop over to my Facebook page, which is Joy Ani Scrapping My Own Private Idaho. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do some faux stitching, and I am using a ruler. I got this ruler at a garage sale. I have, and it's a Tim Holtz one, and it's big, and so I can see what I'm doing. So for faux stitching, I'm just using a white pen, and when I am doing, I want to make sure that you can see me on this. So I am using Close to My Heart paper. This was called Now and Forever. I believe it was last year's Valentine's paper. This was not taken on Valentine's Day. This one was taken in 1991, and these pictures were taken in 1989. But because I have a limited amount of pictures, and I didn't want to make a 2-page, so I only had this as a one and done picture. I didn't want to do 2 pages, so I just have the date. This is 1989, and this right here says it's 92. So it's not, I like to be chronological when I put them in the, when I finally put them in the books, but sometimes you just can't because you have to keep, I want to put the, I want the pages to look together, I want them to look nice together. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to twirl this around, and so I'm lining this up. I'm trying to see, and I am actually doing my faux stitching at a 1/2 inch. I feel like I'm kind of backwards on this one, and I'm not going to worry about this line because it is just it's not going to show, and if it's not going to show, why bother? So this is one way you can do stitching. There are all kinds of, I have for a while they had some really cool stitching tools, and one of these days I'm going to break those out and I'll show you in a video in case you were like me and found them at a garage sale. So now I'm going to do the half line down here. So you can see this is much quicker than stitching. Does it really look like stitching? Probably not, but your eye doesn't know any better. So that's what I'm trying to do, and also it just kind of brings it all together. I'm going to stop when I get down towards the bottom because I made a mistake and didn't do that up the other one, and I live to regret it. So I'm going to have this at the half line, and so it goes fairly quickly. A lot of times I will just draw a line. I'll just draw a white line around, or a black line, or whatever line I feel like doing to add a little emphasis to the layout. I'm going to do my right side of my layout first, and I will tell you the dimensions of that, and I will keep referring back to. Okay, so that's all stitched. So I am going to, I want to make sure these line up. So I like, if I'm doing a 2-page layout, I like to center, so I am actually 3/4. I like to put them so that they're in the middle together. I do like the 3-ring binders. However, now that I have had the 3-ring binders for a while and my albums have been sitting on shelves, they do get a little bit more crinkled. What I don't like about post bound is, boy, I have a hard time taking them apart. I am not very mechanical. Okay, so I want to show you. So when I saw this layout, I think the main element that really stands out on this layout is this right here, and the title. And I had just, when Christy posted the upcoming layouts for this 16th round, this is round 16 of Christy's Beautiful Life, I had just purchased these postage dies from Stampin' Up, and I will show you, maybe I'll show you. The postage dies are these, so they come in a set, and so they remind me, okay, that's perfect, that's exactly what I want to do, and that's this one. This one is the one I cut those out and made the design on the side. She put them horizontally. I'm putting them vertically just because, remember, a sketch is all about your pictures. So you're taking an idea that someone else has designed and you're making it fit your life. So, oops, I just lost my 1989. Okay, I'm going to put this through the Xyrons before I forget it again. So, yeah, so this is a Xyron, and I've used these a lot. I do this with letters because I will lose things when I'm filming, and I don't want to lose things while I'm filming. I've just lost the 8. It'll show up, but you know it will go on this block right here. So these, so I used this one for the small ones like this, and I used this one as the photo frame. And these pictures are basically cut at 3x4. So, and I think they turned out perfectly, especially since I didn't have the 4x6s like I talked about before. So I'm just going to go ahead and set those right here. Oops, I'm not going to put the children upside down. These are adult children, so I have no problem with you seeing their pictures. I don't, if they're minors, I don't usually put pictures or try to cover them up. All right. Okay. So, and also the other thing that I did, and I talked about this in a previous video, because there are more pictures in my sister's house of these kids, and so instead of, I'm kind of leaving this real estate empty, because if I find more pictures, I can put them there. If I don't find more pictures, I can just decorate them or journal on them. So I'm just leaving these. I know that there's at least one more picture in this series, so I can come back and get those. This is this was a piece from the, so the paper packs from Close to My Heart came 6 sheets in a sticker sheet, and I'm using these for journaling, and I like them because they're numbered. And I am going to talk about the fact that this picture is taken at my mom's house. My mom always loved it. When we came to visit, she'd call, and every vacation day that I ever had, she said, "Are you coming over on whatever day it was that I had?" And she, then we'd all load up. And this little girl is, so now the next thing that I'm going to do, so I learned a new trick, and it's probably a trick that you already know, but we're going to pretend like you don't know. And if I can find it, I am taking this sheet of paper. So I like to tear, but if you are more of a more controlled person, you can do a controlled tear. So this is a 2.5 inch strip. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it at 2.5, and I'm going to tear it. But you don't want to, well, you would think that you'd tell it at 2.5, but see how I'm actually tearing it at where this hits, which is the 3/4. So I'm taking 3/4 off of my 2.5, which gives me 1 3/4, and then that will give me the exact the width that I want. Because when I'm using this tear, I'm using this bar as a tearing tool. It will give me a nice straight edge, but it's a little bit farther over. So if you like controlled tears, if you want to tear because you want the white core, but you don't want it to be too crazy, you can just use this. You can just pull this down and you pull it towards you, and that gives you a nice controlled tear. And then if, see, hardly any white core shows at all on that one. Oops. So that's one thing that you can do with your strip. Okay, so I'm going to have that one go this way. I'm looking at my layout, and after I do that, then I want, if you want it to be a little bit more, like on this side, I had a little bit more, so to be nice and even Steven, I'm going to go ahead and tear just a little bit more, because I want it to show a little bit. So you can do a nice even tear, or you can just tear it like this. The world is your oyster. Another way, if you are into control, you can get a paintbrush and just a little bit of water and tear. And that's a great way to do it, but I tend not to like to put water on my paper. I always think, what if it doesn't dry out? I think it's all those years I lived in Oregon where nothing ever really got dry. Okay, so the next thing that I want to do is I'm going to set, you know me, I like to set everything down, and then if it makes me happy, then I'll go ahead and go for it. So on this side, I can have, I don't know if I want it to go this way and then have this go this way. So I have this, see, they have a striped along the top, although I have changed it quite a bit, and I'm just knocked my family on the floor. So we might have to use our imagination for that one because I'm not going to dig around for it. So I could have it like this, and I think that's the way I'm going to go. I will set it that way, and then I will kind of eyeball this. I want this, you know, I don't think the stripe adds anything in it. Might be a little confusing. I think I want it to maybe go this way. And I could have it this way. I could have it go that way. But I think that's just too repetitive. So I'm going to put this on here like this. And that will give us that pattern. And then there's another thing that I am going to try. I don't know if it will make the cut or not. Normally I decide these things and have all these down before I come on, but I guess I just feel super chatty today. So let's see. The next thing that you can do, and what they've done is they have this kind of a straight stitched one, and I am thinking that I might add a red strip across here, and yes, I'm adding red to red, but I'm showing you what I did was I roughed this one up a little bit, and I don't know if it's worth the bother. I could add this right here, and that gives it a little bit more dimension, and I'll show you how I did that. So I have this handy dandy little scoring device. So this was done. You can do this with a couple ways. If I can find it, maybe okay. So this is an old-fashioned. I've had this for 18 years. What you do with this is you take it, and because we have a white core, you just kind of come along and you rough it up, and it just makes it. It adds a little depth, and this layout, I believe that's what she's done. I'm not for sure if she watches this video. If Sean Styles Lair watches this video, maybe she can tell me if this is what she did on the bottom. But it's just cut at 1/2 inch. It's not going to go all the way across. And I think what I'll do after I am off film, I think I am going to sew. And I might, because it's so subtle, the sewing that I've done, see how it pulls. And if you like it really jagged, you could do this. If you don't have one of these handy dandy things, if you're a garage seller, look for them. You can find them at garage sales. If you don't have it, you can take your scissors, although it will dull your scissors if you do this. So then you just come along like this. Okay, so I'm just going to put this at the bottom of this page just to add a little something something, and I'm going to trim it. So I'm going to have it here because that does give it, it's almost like putting foam tape on there. It gives it a little bit of lift, and I could have it, I think I'm going to have it right. I'm going to put it on between 11 and 11 and a half. I'm going to go ahead and tape it on there, and then I'm going to trim it. Look at me going 18 minutes. Okay. So, Christy's Beautiful Life is a Facebook challenge where there's a new sketch every day. There are literally hundreds of people who are doing videos just like this one, and you can get all these ideas. And it's fun because someone might be using, there's a lot of folks that used to be with, I feel like there's a lot of Close to My Heart paper being used on this particular Facebook group, and it's nice to see what other people do with similar product. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do for that one. And then I'm going to, let's audition. I still haven't decided. I can't make my mind up about this. Should I add it or shouldn't I add it? I think I'm going to add it. I think it does add a little something. So I'm going to set that right on the side. I think that's kind of how she, well, she had it up by the title, but like I said, I had to move things around because it didn't match my particular situation. And that's the beauty of a sketch, is you want the sketch to match what you've got going. You don't want to just create a layout just because you have a sketch, although that would be super tempting. I don't think I can even scrapbook without a sketch. I used to spend hours just, kind of dazing off into la la land thinking, what am I going to do with this? And there are so many fun challenge groups that I think I do. There are quite a few challenge groups that I do on a regular basis, and it's so fun. It really is like eating somebody else's cooking. That's how I always refer to it as. And like I said, this is it was a Valentine's kit, but it matches the colors perfectly. And even though this is for my nephew and he's a guy, I'm using pink. Let me make sure this is. I have a tendency to have it slide down and then things don't line up. You could, if you had a fun title with big letters, you could make this your title on the side. And there's definitely opportunities to embellish on this one. I don't know how much embellishment. I'll show you what some of the things that came with this particular pack. And you can see, well, okay. I'm going to have to move these around a little bit because they don't perfectly line up to the edge. So, oops. But I do absolutely love these. They're called perennial postcards. You can buy this die set that I've shown you on my website. If you do not have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'd be happy for you to do that for me. Okay, the next thing. So I've lost my family. Oh dear, I've lost all the letters. They have gone down. I will find them and attach them later, I'm sure. So same thing with this one. And in the paper pack, on the zip strips, if you have Close to My Heart paper, it tells you the cardstock that this particular pack used. I went on my own, and hopefully this matches because I'm not the best with color. But all right. Then we're going to put this right. Oh, okay, that's right. Because I added the slip. I'm going to slide that over a little bit more, lining this up so that when it's put together in the album, it will match. And my sister was very, like I said, we were pretty poor, but she always, having pictures of her kids was a very big priority for her. I'm going to put this where I have another strip that's striped. If I don't have it, we'll have to use our imagination. Okay, so I'm not finding that either. I won't. You get the general gist. I'm going to take another strip like this one and add it to the side. It is amazing how things fall on the floor when you go to film, and some of them I have to recut completely. I will look for a second, and if we don't go, then we'll just use it. Okay. So we're going to do the same thing to this side. We are going to line that up. We are going to put our very roughed up. Did you see the top of my head on that one? So we're going to take this, and remember we're roughing this up with the. Make sure that this is two-tone paper, so make sure that you are doing the side that is. And I have I had done 2 of those red sheets, but of course I think this table ate everything that I was going to put on this page. All right, so there's actually while I am looking for that, oh, here it is. Here's my roughed up edge. Found one thing. We're going to go right like this. And I do like that. I think it is a really quick and easy way to do it. I'm not going to finish this page off because I'm missing the strip like this that goes on it, and I don't want to glue it down. But I will, if you want to pop over and see on my Facebook group, I will have still shots. Also, when you come on and look at the videos, there's a thumbnail, the one that advertises the title. It says the title of the layout. That one always has the finished picture, so you can see what it finally looked out like. So what I will do off screen, since I am on the struggle bus today, that's just so weird. I had all of those strips laid out. I'm going to put this here. You will see that I have a, oops, sorry. I will have the strip like this. That will go here, like this. And then I will put these like this. And then below we have, I cut out letters using this fun, thin, they're not called thin cuts, I'm not sure what they're called, in Stampin' Up! World. Let me put I'm going to put my 19 on there, and then I'll have to add 89. So that is my label. So they had a training kind of for Stampin' Up! And on our demonstrator website, and they had a lot of really helpful things, and they talked about the fact that you want to make sure that you are journaling, not just labeling. So the date and the names of the people, that's labeling, but you want to include more details, so when they look at this, then the kids will know this was taken on Christmas, and these pictures were taken at Grandma's house when you were visiting baby Stephanie. Alright, so there will be a title that I made out of these small letters, and they will go right at the bottom here. So that's what I have for you today. I hope you will stay tuned. I am trying to stay up with Christy's Beautiful Life, but it is 2 pages a day. So if you want to join that challenge, pop on and visit some of the people who are doing their presentations. There's a whole list of people who are doing this challenge, and lots of really good ideas. Take care, and we'll talk to you later. Thanks. Bye.